All right, let's talk about the invisible stuff at work. You know, those hidden forces that shape everything. Why one company feels amazing to work for and another one just doesn't. We're going to peel back the curtain on something called organizational behavior.
I mean, you've been there, right? You've been on a team where everything is just electric. It flows. It just works. And you've probably also been on a team that felt like you were trying to run through quicksand. Well, that difference, it's not magic, and it's not an accident. There's actually a science to it.
And that science is called Organizational Behaviour, or OB for short. It's the field that's all about digging into what people actually do at work and, more importantly, how that behavior impacts the company's performance. You can think of it as a kind of playbook for the human side of business.
Now, to really get a handle on all this, OB experts look at the workplace through 3 different lenses, like zooming in on a map. We're going to start by zooming all the way in to the absolute core building block of any organization, the single individual.
But, people rarely work completely alone. We connect, we collaborate, and yeah, sometimes we clash. And that's when we form our second level of analysis, the group.
And finally, all these people and all these teams are operating inside a much bigger system, right? The company itself with its own culture, its own rules, and that's our third and final level, the organization. So these 3 levels, that's our roadmap for this whole explainer.
So let's kick things off with level 1, the individual. This is all about what makes each of us tick, the unique stuff every single person brings with them when they walk through the office door.
First things first, we've got to get this straight. Personality and attitude are not the same thing. Your personality, that's your core wiring. Are you an introvert, an extrovert, super organized? That stuff is pretty stable. Your attitude, though, that's about how you feel about a specific thing, like, say, the new coffee machine in the break room. Personality doesn't change much, but attitudes, oh yeah, they can change all the time.
And this leads us right into perception. Come on, you've totally done this. You get a one-line email from your boss and you're convinced they're furious. But were they? Maybe, maybe not. The email itself was just words. Your perception colored it with emotion. And that's a huge piece of OB. We don't see reality as it is. We see it as we are. So if our perceptions can be off, how do we adjust? We learn. And it happens in this really simple but powerful little loop. Something happens, right? We have an experience. Then we take a second to think about it. What went right? What went wrong? And based on that, we change what we do next time. This little cycle is happening all day, every day.
So what powers this whole engine? What makes us act and learn in the first place? Well, that's motivation. It is the why behind everything we do. Whether it's that inner fire to get better at something, or just the external pressure of a looming deadline, motivation is what pushes us forward.
Okay, so stop and think about it. You've got all these different people, right? Each one is a unique cocktail of personality, perceptions, and personal motivations. It sounds like it should be total chaos. So how on earth does anything ever get done when you put them all together? Well, that question leads us perfectly to level 2, the group. This is where we zoom out just a little bit and look at how all those individual me's start to become a collective we. It's where the really interesting dynamics start to happen.
And the secret sauce here is something called interpersonal behavior. This isn't just about being in the same Zoom call. It's about that whole web of interactions, the quick chats, the arguments, the moments of breakthrough, the little alliances, all the things that happen between people. You see, every single group develops its own kind of DNA. You've got roles, like who's the person that always gets things started, who plays devil's advocate. Then you have norms. These are the powerful, unwritten rules. Is it okay to be 5 minutes late to a meeting? Can you challenge your boss? And tying it all together is communication, the actual lifeblood of the group, determining how information and ideas get from one person to another.
Now, inside these groups, it is so important to understand the difference between leadership and power. Power is often just about a title. Your manager has the formal authority to tell you what to do, but real leadership, that's about influence. It can come from anywhere. Maybe it's that junior developer on the team who everyone just trusts and listens to. That's the person who's actually leading the group toward its goal, even without any formal power.
Okay, time to zoom out one last time, all the way to level 3, the organization. Think of this as the giant container that holds all the individuals and all the groups. It's the big picture, the structure, the culture, the policies that shapes everything happening inside it. And when we look at this level, we start to see that a lot of problems we think are personal are actually symptoms of the system itself. Take stress, for example. We often think, oh, I need to be more resilient. But a lot of the time, stress is a direct result of the organization, like a completely unsustainable workload or constantly changing priorities that leave everyone confused.
So, what happens when the entire system has to change? There's a classic model for this. Unfreeze, change, refreeze. First, you have to unfreeze things, basically shake people out of their old habits and get them ready for something new. Then you introduce the change itself. But honestly, the most important part is the last step, refreeze. You have to lock in the new way of doing things, because if you don't, people will almost always drift right back to what they're comfortable with.
So we've looked at the individual, the group, and the organization, but here's the real insight. You can't just look at them separately. They're all part of one big, dynamic system that's always moving and changing.
And this is the main takeaway. These three levels are constantly influencing each other. One person's toxic attitude can absolutely poison an entire team's performance. A dysfunctional team can cause a whole department to get reorganized. And a huge organizational shift, like a merger, well, that's going to create massive ripples for every single individual. It's all connected.
So now that you have this framework, you have a whole new way of looking at your own job. And I want to leave you with this question to think about. When you look at your own workplace, which of these levels, the individual, the group, or the organization, do you think really holds the most power to make a real positive change? Think about it. The answer might just surprise you.